Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel great. It's nice to be here. I've never been to Paris before. It's a beautiful city. I walked around today. It's really pretty. And I'm excited to work with your students.
Yes. Tell me about this method, the Meissner method, and where did you learn it?
I got to study with Sandy, which was life-changing, not just for my acting, for my life. What I love about Meisner, it lays down this wonderful foundation.
Yeah.
It's all about listening, working off your partner, not anticipating, making strong choices, breaking the scene down into beats. I had studied Meisner for 5 years, and then I studied Strasberg. But it was Meisner that really laid down the foundation for the type of work I do and the type of work I teach. And it's about living truthfully under the imaginary circumstances. So when you're watching Meisner actors work, it's like peeking through a keyhole. And what you're watching is so private, so real.
Actually, we're really impressed about this method because these actors, really famous actors, they use this method today. And
well, Michelle Pfeiffer was in my class, and Lorraine Newman from Saturday Night Live. They were all part of the class I was a part of. And then after I had left, I know James Franco was there for about 8 years.
Is this the method James Franco is using today, the Meissner method?
I don't know if he uses it all the time, but this is, he thinks enough of it that he started his own school. And I was one of the first teachers asked to come teach at Studio 4. And we teach the Meisner technique.
How are the students?
The students are great. I mean, I have great students there. He's all about taking what you're learning in the classroom and applying it. He's all about giving back and giving these students opportunities to work and to find your community of artists that you'll work and grow with. So I teach a technique class there, and I teach an intermediate class and an advanced class. And it's great. I mean, I love teaching. And he's put together a really great school. And he also teaches a master class there in his school as well.
Actually, that's wonderful. And that's exactly what we want to create here in Paris Film Academy, this community of actors who can collaborate together and with the acting coaches and film directors from Los Angeles.
It's necessary. I mean, you have to take control of your career as an actor. It's not good enough, I don't think, just to be the actor. You have to learn, you have to write, you have to produce, you have to direct. This way you're not waiting for somebody to give you permission to act.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no reason not to be acting if you're passionate about it, if you need to do it. I mean, there's reasons maybe to lose money because you're putting it up yourself, but eventually, well, you're feeding your soul, you're feeding your art.
Tell me about your career in acting.
My career, in the past year and a half, I've worked on 3 feature films. One was something that James wrote called Holy Land.
This year?
Yeah. Well, it'll be released this year. And 2 I wrote. I wrote them as stage plays first. I put them up on stage. One's called The Last Train. That's in post-production. It should be ready to start going out to festivals in the next month.
Great.
And the other one, I'll start shooting when I go back, actually, when I leave here. I leave here March 1st, and I start shooting March 8th, a film that I wrote. The play was called Subway Suicide. This was the play, and Sierra, who co-starred with me in the play, is going to be directing it. It's 2 people. They meet at a difficult time in their lives, are about to commit suicide, and they find love instead. So I did it as a play, and now I'll be doing it as a feature film. And they were all projects that I initiated.
Great.
Yeah.
Because
So I practice what I preach. I don't just say do this, I do it myself.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Because if I remember good, you start your own actors company.
I have my own. When I left the school where I studied, when I left Playhouse West, I started my own group. I called it the Artist Theater Group.
Yes.
Artists because it's what I aspired to be. Group because of the group theater, where Sandy came from, along with Strasberg and Stella Adler and Bobby Lewis. These great teachers that changed the face of American acting forever and acting around the world. That was started by Konstantin Stanislavski. No longer were we working from the outside in, we're working from the emotional life out. So.
Yes. What kind of advice you can give to the actors, all around the world and maybe in Paris, the way to success,
Well, the way to personal success is you're an actor, you have to act. It's not about getting that agent, so you have to have a place where you can work and train and find your group of actors that you will collaborate with. So I've always been in a class, even when I was teaching, because I think even if you're the most successful actor, if you have a need, a passion to act, you're never going to be able to act all the roles that you want to in this lifetime. And a class allows you the opportunity to work and grow and work on roles that you're passionate about, but maybe you would never be cast in, but you have a feel for it.
Yes.
And it's there that you find your crew, your team. Woody Allen has his, Scorsese has his, James has his, I've got mine, so.
And now we get ours.
And yeah.
I'm really happy you're part of this project. How did you learn about Paris Film Academy?
I work for a school with a similar name, so I work with a lot of international students, and I've worked with students around the world. I've worked with students with translators, students from Japan, China, and Russia. And the students that I do work with, a lot of them have limited or no English, but there's something about this art that goes across those boundaries, because it's not about the words, it's all about behavior. So I was just looking around the world and reaching out to some students and saying, where in the world would I like to go teach? And Paris was one of them.
And you like this idea of Paris Film Academy to create this community and to collaborate?
Well, I would like to have an ongoing thing. I'd like not to just come out here, introduce these students to the technique and work with them. I would like it to be an ongoing collaboration. I have my own group in Los Angeles. Maybe there's could be some kind of an exchange program where they can come, to the United States and study.
That's great.
And I would like to continue to work with them.
That's great. And I can't wait to start the class Monday.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
The Masonry Technique. So explain us what's the program, what we're going to do the first week, the Masonry Technique the second week.
Well, I imagine that most of the students have never worked Meisner, so I'll lay it out for them, what it is, and introduce them to the beginning exercises. I'll start with the repetition exercise. We'll work on activities. We'll work on a relationship exercise. I'll get them in touch emotionally, teach them how to emotionally prepare for a scene, and then we'll work on a scene that they'll film at the end of the program.
Great.
Yeah.
Actually, we are inspired about the way of James Franco. He liked to work with the young actors. He's from this Twitter generation. And so that's the reason the first time we start a group for young actors also. Because before we was working only with professional actors. And do you like this idea? What's the difference from the one group and the other group? What do you think?
I love actors that have had little or no training. Because a lot of times they go to the college and they have a lot of bad habits they now have to undo. Because a lot of the colleges are geared towards the result. I meet a lot of them, they don't even know what technique they've learned. If there are students who have had some training, then I would give them, I would take them from the point that they are and take them to the next step.
So what you said is that even the professional actors, they need to make their training like...
Well, I told you, James was, very successful in shooting Spider-Man, and he's flying back on his own money to go to class. So, I mean, if this is a guy who's already successful financially and artistically, and he sees the value in class, I mean, I don't see why someone who's just working, has done some work, feels they don't need to keep working at their craft. It's no different than somebody who goes to the gym. You know, you don't just go to the gym for a year and say, okay, I'm done. You know, you go and you build muscle memory.
Exactly.
Well, same thing with acting. You go and you build emotional memory. And you start to lose the skills the same way, you know, if you're not working at it. You're not as confident if you're not working at your craft. Not just that, it's endless. It's never, I know it all. You're never done learning.
Exactly.
And that's, you know, the unsuccessful actor, I think, that believes that to be true. And then their acting goes to a certain point, and then that's it. So there's always something to learn.
I like this culture because when I was so impressed when I was in Los Angeles, when the actors, they train all the time. They're like, no matter how old they are or no matter how they successful are, they're going to the studio, and I saw a few studios, everybody's working all the time. They're going to shoot a project, they're back in class. And I just find this difference in Paris. They go to a school for 3 years or in a conservatory for 5. And then they're done. I don't know, so we really want to create this place here that actors can train all the time. And
it's the same thing as when I started my group, I modeled it after the Actors Studio. I was working at the Actors Studio, and that was set up in the 50s by Kazan and Strasberg as a place for actors to go work at their craft.
yes,
Where you didn't have a million eyes watching you. You can work and grow and take chances. I mean, so I don't know why any actor would think that they don't need a place like this. They should be grateful to have a place where they can work out. I mean, you know, in Los Angeles and in New York, you have the Actors Studio. But you don't have that anywhere else in the world where you can just go and work in that way. So you have to find a class, I think, to stay in shape. Not just to stay in shape, to challenge yourself. A couple of years ago, I went to a screening of a movie that Nicole Kidman had done. And one of the interviewers asked her how it was that she seemed to keep just getting better. And she said she was always in a class. That when she was in LA, she was in a class. In New York, she was in a class.
that's
So,
great.
Yeah.
And what do you think about foreigner actors? They have a motivation to success, in Hollywood. Do you think they have really a chance if they still have an accent?
I think I would learn to try to control your accent, but of course they still have a chance. I mean, look at Penelope Cruz or Javier Bardem. There's plenty of actors, I would say learn to clear it up. I think working on voice and to reduce your accent would be a good idea because you're going to be limited in the roles that you can play.
Yeah.
If you can get a more neutral accent, then it would just, expand your opportunities. I think you can still work, but you would get more opportunities if you can control it. But it's not impossible.
So foreigner actors, they need to train even more.
Well, yeah, they should be working on voice. They should work. I mean, you got to be in good shape to be an actor too, because it's exhausting being on a set. I think a lot of young actors have no idea, to be on a set for 12 hours, to, they're changing your script up until the last minute a lot of times.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good memory, and you don't want to test that the first day on a set. I mean, it'd be nice to be in a class so you're confident. You know you're working and you know how to work. Getting paid doesn't make it easier. It adds a different pressure on you. Mm-hmm. So I would say train.
Yes. Finally, what kind of advice you can give to the actors when they go to audition, for example?
Go in confident. Mm-hmm. Go over your choices. Make strong choices. don't try to give them what you think they're looking for, because many times they don't know what they're looking for. And these actors go in just trying to please everybody, and they're not coming from a solid place anymore. It's false. They don't even know what they did. Make a strong choice and go for it, and trust that the choice you made is there. And you learn to trust yourself more by working at it, by working those muscles. So again, by being in a class, you would have tried a lot of this beforehand. So it wouldn't be so foreign to you just getting up in front of a casting director and auditioning. And then if you're in class too, I know in my classes, if the student has an audition, I have them bring it to class and we break it down and go over choices.
Yeah.
And,
And what's the reason of the success of James Franco? Everybody's crazy about James Franco, and he's really successful today. Why he's so successful and not other actors? Why is the reason?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I mean, I just saw last year a documentary called 20 Feet from Stardom.
Yeah.
Besides working at your craft, I think the stars got to be aligned. There's got to be a little luck involved. But he's also, he works in every part of this industry, from film to TV to Broadway. I just read this morning he's going to be doing a new television show for Hulu based on a Stephen King book on. He's a English teacher. He goes back in time and tries to prevent the Kennedy assassination. And they have high hopes for it. But he works, he went from being nominated for an Oscar to working on a soap opera.
Actually, was just together in a Berlinale film festival. So how was there the premiere of the movie I'm Michael?
It was great. He was in 3 films that are at the, one by Herzog, one by Wim Wenders, and one that he produced. So I got to see him at an exhibition party they had, and I got to go to the premiere of I Am Michael.
That's really great. And I'm so happy that after that, you get a chance to come to Paris and to teach in Paris Film Academy.
Yeah, well, I'm excited too.
And I'm happy you'll be back soon.
Yes.
Also.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
Yes. So I just can't wait the start of the class this Monday. And if you want to say something to the students, they don't know Paris Film Academy yet, and they don't know you, and they want to join the next workshop with you, just tell it now.
I would say just come in. You don't need to be anxious. You're definitely gonna have a good time. You're gonna work hard, and when you leave, you'll have some tools that you can work with, and you'll know yourself a little bit better when you leave than you did when you walked in. So.
Thank you very much. And if you guys don't know Paris Film Academy yet, you're really welcome to join us and to join a class with Anthony Montes. The next workshop, I hope, this year.
Yeah.
And if you want to meet us, just come here in the studio and take a coffee, and we can speak about your projects and be part of this project, because I think it's a good idea for artists to have their home and to work together. Thank you guys. Bye.